Welcome back to the channel. A lot of commentary has been said about last night, but I just want to say a few things about the coaching staff because, it's bad. My way or the highway. That's what I took away from the game last night. My way or the highway. So I'm going to say a couple things in reference to the staff. I'm going to get to a breakdown of the game, and then, that's it, right? First off, who in that building cares about Tyler Van Dyke? I'm asking. When I saw Tyler Van Dyke trotting out on the field, when I heard reports all week that Tyler Van Dyke is looking good in practice, I didn't believe it. This is gamesmanship. You're supposed to say this. It was one point it was reported, we're getting all three quarterbacks ready to play. Okay, throw the curveball out there to Florida State. They don't know what they expect. Right? They don't know what they expect. Tyler Van Dyke comes out there. Then in the warm-ups, it is reported John Campbell is being helped off the field. What? Non-contact. What? John Campbell played. But at the same time, there has to be an adult in the room. Tyler, son, listen. We know you want to play. We understand that. But we can't guarantee your protection. We can't do it. It's like putting you out there and we know. How many of y'all play Call of Duty, right? And you spawn somewhere and you're running and next thing you know, a grenade blows up in your face and you die? That's what happened. We put Tyler Van Dyke out there with a live grenade. Tyler Van Dyke re-aggravated said injury. We don't know what the injury was. Some people say it's a shoulder, collarbone. I don't know what it is. Re-aggravated, not getting hit, but throwing a sidearm pass. I believe that ball was going to X. Somebody was in the area. Take him out the field, put Jacory in. I said, well, we dodged that bullet. Tyler got out of there. I don't know if they told Tyler that he needs to get back out there on the field. I wasn't there. I don't know if Tyler felt that he needed to go back on the field. But the good thing about being at home sometimes is the camera is going to go where you want it to go sometimes. And the camera went to the sideline, Tyler throwing the ball, grimacing. Why was he allowed to go back onto the field when we have John Campbell, who in warm-ups was helped off the field? Now, I know people say, the coaching not catching the ball, the coaching is not blocking, the coaching not taking. Well, the coaching put Tyler Van Dyke on the field. The coaching put John Campbell back on the field. The coaching took Tyler Van Dyke off the field, put Jacory in the game, lose yardage, call the play, get him 18 yards, put Tyler Van Dyke back in the game. Coaching did that. Coaching did that. And this is the thing, and I'm guilty of this too, right? The vast majority of us don't know football. We don't know scheme. We don't know what responsibility is it for said players on the field. So when we don't know those particular basics, it is so easy for some of these fans, and I'm ashamed of some of you. I'm ashamed that I'm associated with some of you because we like the same team. Because I saw fans calling players POSs. Are you serious? It's not the coach's fault. They're not running. They're not tackling. They're not blocking. But you don't know football. You don't know football. You don't know football. All we see is the end result of the play. Prime example. First touchdown Florida State scores. Everybody, it's DJ Ivey's fault. You don't know football because Al Blaze was supposed to be getting to the middle of the field. A post route is not available in cover 3. But instead, it's DJ Ivey. He always gets burnt. And DJ Ivy finally said, you know what? The safeties for the 9th consecutive week refuse to play over top, so I am going to stack the receiver, make a play myself. Oh my goodness. It is so easy. This is the thing, right? This is what's going on here. I'm going to use an example. Stock market, right? One of the things you hear in the stock market is past results or past highs, past gains, historical references are not a fail proof point of reference to say that future results will be just as good or some way of that way, something of that nature. And you're saying, Shy, what is that? What are we talking about stock market for? We're talking about football. And I say that because we have a star-studded coaching staff. And the first thing I hear people say is all of these coaches won at different locations, so it has to be the players. And let me tell you something. Past results are not an indication of future results. Let me name some coaches. You think when Texas A&M hired Jimbo Fisher, didn't you think they were getting Florida State results? Are they getting them? No. Do you think when Michigan hired Rich Rodriguez, don't you think they were getting West Virginia results? Did they get them? No. Do you think when the University of Texas hired Charlie Strong, don't you think they were getting Louisville results? Did they get them? No. Kansas. I'm sure Kansas wasn't expecting to get LSU results, but I'm sure they were looking to be competitive in the Big 12. Were they? No. They weren't. Which is why past accomplishments are not an indicator or not a good indicator of future results. I was listening to Coach Hayes last night, and I always learn something from Coach Hayes, man. I always learn something from Coach Hayes. And Coach Hayes said something because I think somebody commented and said Josh Gaddis won the Broyles Award. And Coach Hayes said that, listen, and I'm paraphrasing, the objective is to grow from the Broyles Award, not to turn around and start back struggling again. So it really kind of makes the award look like it was given to the wrong person when probably the actual best assistant last year was Dan Lanning. Past results are not an indication of future, right? So now, I give it to y'all. Some of y'all fans, y'all have hedged the bets. Hedged them. It's a rebuild. Let me tell you something about a rebuild. Because I think some of y'all are getting rebuild and replace. Misconstrued. If y'all don't know, what I do for a living, I own and operate a truck. Last year, I had to rebuild my engine. Let me tell you something about a rebuild in reference to an engine. They took the engine down, they broke it down, but guess what? I had pieces that were on this engine that were still operatable. And they put those parts right back on the engine and replaced what needed to be replaced, and I went on about my merry way. But you guys are trying to make me believe I didn't see what Tyler Van Dyke did last year. I didn't see what Jalen Knight did last year. I didn't see what James Williams did last year. I didn't see what Cam Kitchens did last year. I didn't see what Tyreek Stevenson did last year. I didn't see that stuff. I didn't see what Jalen Rivers did last year. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see that. My way or the highway. So, purposely, even the pieces that are fine, I don't want anything to do with Manny Diaz. I don't want it. Right? I don't want Tyler. I don't want Jake. I don't want Rooster. I don't want Key. I don't want Red. I don't want any of this. And you say, Rashad, come on now. Stop being foolish. No, I'm being honest. the foolishness that we saw with this quarterback carousel yesterday and the things that are going on, you don't want the pieces that could help speed this up. Let me tell you what's going on here, right? I thought about this. You know who hedged their bets on something big occurring last? Manny Diaz. What did Manny Diaz do last year? Manny Diaz and his staff said, you know what? We're not going to recruit as hard. We got a good team coming back. You know what we're going to do? We're going to win, and then we're going to go around. We're going to cherry pick because the U is back. Mario Cristobal is doing the exact same thing. I'm going to destroy this, and I'm going to try as hard as I can to make sure we look like something next year. I made the joke multiple times. Wasn't no coaching done. They texting recruits. Couldn't been no coaching done. It couldn't have been. A die, recruiter of the year. A die. Don't worry about telling the site to get back over the top. Don't worry about that. Hey, text. Make sure McClain is still locked in. You know. Text Desmond Ricks. Text the guys. Don't worry about that. Charlie, don't worry about they running the counter trade. Don't worry about that. Make sure Malik Bryant is still locked in. Make sure these guys are locked in. Mirabelle, don't worry about making sure the offensive line is blocking. Let's make sure Francis is still locked in, because that's what I saw my way or the highway. Now, I'm just gonna touch on a little bit about this particular game, man. So I've seen some people say, man, this is horrible. This is rock bottom. It's like no. We saw rock bottom. We saw rock bottom in 2019. We saw that. Matter of fact, we saw what we saw. I feel this is more 2018 than 2019, because similar, we couldn't get the quarterback situation straightened out. We don't know who the quarterback is. Somebody. We were talking about, Jake. And my thinking of this is like, man, Jake got a lot going on, man. And I said, man, you got fans calling you POS and whatever else is being said. He told me, he said, man, this is looking like Kirby Freeman. I said, man, nah, man, actually it's worse, man, from a mental standpoint, because Kirby Freeman wasn't here during the era of social media. Ja'Cory Harris wasn't here during the era of social media. Tyler Van Dyke is here. Jay Garcia is here. And some of the things that are being said on message boards, I can only imagine what's being said behind people who have their face blanked out, who create fake profiles just to talk about kids. And no, it's not just rival fans. It's some of y'all, because I've seen it. Like I said, I'm ashamed to be associated with some of y'all. Because I'm going to give you the rundown of who y'all are. Y'all are the guys that say, I'm a real fan. I go to every game. They love to tell you how long they've been a fan, as if that's supposed to make your knowledge of the game superior. All you know is touchdown. And they kick the field goal. Some of you, blind loyalty. Blind loyalty. I'm just amazed. Man. That Manny Diaz is still the culprit. But you know what? I can't say that, because it was a person on 247 still blaming Mark Richt last year. Somebody still blaming Mark Richt last year for Manny Diaz's struggle. So I guess that's what y'all on now. How long can Manny Diaz be blamed? Now, I'm about to say something that y'all would say, because I do think that a little context has to be brought to this conversation, right? This is something that y'all would say. And I mean this, though. Florida State has been chipping away. You know, they've had some embarrassments. Memphis Mike has essentially been on the hot seat since year one. He's had to block out all of that. He has to reshape and rebuild the culture that was destroyed at Florida State, and we're seeing it firsthand at Texas A&M right now. At least Florida State got a national title out of it before, you know, stuff went to hell in a handbasket. But he's got some guys in there, and they look nothing like the team that we played in 2020. And similar to how we were in 2020, we took advantage of a bad team. Florida State turned around and did the same exact thing. They took advantage of a bad team. Plain and simple. They took advantage of a bad team. And they have some continuity. They haven't fired any coaches. The only coach that I think left was Dillingham, who's the OC at Oregon right now. So for the most part, those players have been listening to the same message from the same guys for the duration of this 3-year period, which I don't even want to say 3 years. I want to say 2, because can we really count 2020? 2020 was just a bunch of chaos. We still remember the whole situation with the Clemson fiasco when, you know, Florida State was scared or whatever the situation was. We still remember that. So to see all of that stuff come full circle and for them to put on the performance that they put on last night while taking their foot off of the gas. Their second team scored a touchdown on us. That's how impressive the performance was last night, or how depressing our performance was last night. 9 quarters, no touchdowns. 9 quarters, no touchdowns. How hard is it to score a touchdown in college football? You literally can throw the ball down the field, get 3 pass interference calls, and literally get to the 1-yard line. We didn't move the ball until they put their second string defense in. And then when they put the starters back in, look what happens. Snap the ball too early. Ja'Cory can't fall on it. They get the fumble. Amazingly. This is, you know how in the NFL they got next-gen stats? This is next-gen status right here. I mean, come on. But I'm not going to be as upset as some people, because at the end of the day, I'm just gonna do like y'all. I'm just gonna start making things up, right? It was a rebuild from day one. I'm just gonna start making stuff up. Josh Gaddis walked in and said this is the worst collection of talent that he's ever coached. I'm like y'all now. I'm gonna be like y'all now. Things that were not said at the beginning of the season. It is amazing. We had some of these same fans that are calling players POSs said that this team was gonna go 12-0, 11-1, 10-2. I fall into that category, but I'm not about to sit up here and call a player a POS. I'm not about to sit up here and call you trash and garbage, because let me tell you something. Some of y'all still talk about how good y'all were in high school, and y'all didn't make it to UM. Y'all couldn't play for UM. I myself couldn't play for UM. So I'm not about to sit up here and call somebody trash or sorry because you made it to a level and are accomplishing something I myself couldn't do. But that's just me. Maybe because I'm a little bit closer. I'm only 32, so I'm not so far away from, you know, the experience of being in college, whereas some of you guys in the 40s and 50s are still thinking about the state of Miami and Michael Irvin did this and Jerome Brown did this and Butch Davis did this. And it's like, man, listen, get out the Twilight Zone, man. It's 2022. I don't care if you've been a fan 30 years. That don't mean that you know the game. And like I said, a lot of y'all don't know the game of football. And that is why some of the takes and opinions that y'all have make absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I'm gonna sit back and wait though, right? Because like I said, Mario has stacked the deck like no other. Like no other. Because we are risking losing Jay Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke. And we're looking, I mean, can you have 2 bad years in a row? I mean, I guess when you got a 10-year contract, I guess you can. But I know one thing. You're not going to be able to recruit your way out of another bad year next year. So, hopefully, if everyone is retained or some people are switched out, hopefully, we see some progress and we see some guys that are committed to this class get out on the field and are making some plays and look better. Because I tell you what, this type of bet that he's making is a huge bet. A huge bet. And if he rolls snake eyes, we think the program is cursed now. It's over. It's over. Because think about this. At one point in time, Larry Coker was the highest paid coach in college football. Larry Coker failed. What did the university do? We're not putting no more money out there. So could you imagine what happens if this gamble in year 1 doesn't work out? You're gonna kiss the baby, man. But with that being said, man, hey, it's all about the Canes, and like, subscribe, and share.